Hey. And more than 100 people here today. So let me roll through. Looks like Apple is super popular. Hut and Mora. All the different SP 500 ones, ES, MES, SPX, SPY. See lots of big tech, Apple, Amazon, Tesla. All right, Facebook, Hut and Mora, of course, crypto miners. All right. So how's everybody doing today? How do we know when it's going to top out? That's a good question. All right, Dan, go to the survey. You can vote. I'll refresh it again as I go through. So jeffreytrader.com/vote. That's just a Survey Monkey thing that's aggregating all the votes. Only about 30 people have voted, and there's more than 100 people here. So if you want to have a say so, click on that. Go to the link real quick. NQ. If you're not familiar, in TradingView, you can get the futures for the S&P 500, NASDAQ, Russell, oil, gold. They go, the S&P 500 is ES 1 exclamation point. NASDAQ is NQ 1 exclamation point. Russell is RTY 1 exclamation point. Oil is CL 1 exclamation point. And gold is GC 1 exclamation point. Wow, attendance keeps climbing. So if you're just joining me, if you want to go put in a vote, jeffreytrader.com/vote. You can go put in your top 3 tickers that you want to vote for me to cover today. I'm just going to go through some stuff, make some predictions. We're going to try to keep it about 30 minutes or so. And we may do this regularly every week. So we'll see how this works. All right. This will be maybe a free reoccurring content for me. All right. So back to it. S&P 500. I do put out. The vote link is not alive for you, as in you can't click on it. But if you go type in jeffreytrader.com/vote, it'll work. So you go. Right like that. It'll jump over. Right like that. Yes, there'll be a recording as always. We record everything. And it's recording now. So there'll be a recording. All right. We got this right here. ES coming down. Originally 2 weeks ago, when we bottomed here, it came back up and stopped at the 618. I said there's a very distinct possibility that we run down here and visit the 144 EMA before we get a bigger bounce. We came up just a little bit shy. Just a bit shy. So he's going to be goofy for me. There we go. So we came up. The bottom was about 42.53. Is that right? We click on that candle. The low, 42.60. Yeah. Move my red arrow. There we go. Yeah, 42.60 right there. So we came up just a bit shy of the 144 EMA down here at 42.30. And we've kind of held here for 2 days. So we may make one more dip down here. That's a distinct possibility. So if you're out here long, we got to clear these candles here and start making some higher highs. Otherwise, we still run the risk of dipping down to this 144 EMA on the S&P 500 ES. This is ES futures. I use that because there's no gaps. If you look at the SPX chart, we get some gaps in here. See these gaps here, gap here. So I use futures just because it runs continuous almost all day, every day, closed on Saturday. All right. NQ did run down here. Big tech did bounce right off that 144 EMA. All right. So this could be a bullish setup, but today was an inside day. This candle's inside the body of this candle before on the daily. We did enter a downtrend on both for the daily on both the S&P 500 and NQ. and the NASDAQ. Russell is just more sideways. Small caps have been sideways for 8 months, and it's in a tightening range. So what's special about the 144 EMA? Because I'll get to that in a future session. It has to do with some of my stuff. I have a variety of different programs, and I look at the EMAs, exponential moving averages, and 144 is Fibonacci based. I do a lot of my stuff based on Fibonacci, and the 144 EMA just happens to have a special trick that relates to Elliott wave for a setup. And if you look at it a whole bunch of times on a whole bunch of different time frames, the 144 EMA holds in the vicinity a whole lot of times. And in a future session, I'll go over some of the tricks on why I look at the 144 EMA. Right there, it came down, punched right just through it, and then took off on oil. And it's reaching up to the new highs I've been looking for. Back in July, I put out a profit wave report on oil that I thought it was setting up to make a run to the $80 to $100 area into the end of the year. And right now, we sure do seem to be heading to the $80 to $100 area as we approach Q4 here. We get started in Q4. So that prediction seems to be holding pretty well. Gold here. I'm just running through the general markets, and then I'll refresh the Survey Monkey, and we'll dive into some of the more specific charts that you guys wanted to see. So gold, it is kind of testing the top of this down channel that it's been in since September. Really, it needed to break through this orange zone, and it still needs to break through the orange zone. Otherwise, I think it could be getting down here to a new low, something lower than it's seen all of this year. All right, that's kind of my prediction on gold. All right, let me pop over here quickly, refresh the survey one more time. All right, roll through and see what the big votes are. Seems more on Apple, top of the list here. So let's look at Apple. Put my mouse back on the right screen. All right, and APPL is not APL. There we go. All right, first thing everybody sees, we dip down to the 144 EMA. Right, everybody see that? Came right on down, touched it yesterday. Today, trading a little bit higher. Same general kind of thing as the NASDAQ. We had a bit of an inside day. We did poke up a little bit above the top of the range yesterday, just barely. Closed back inside. We need some action above that tomorrow. You see some price action above there, above these two tops. If we can get a close up in this area, right in here, in the next couple days, this could start flipping this around to bullish. Now, one thing I particularly like to look at on Apple, just for Apple, not for everything else, just Apple, this Heikin-Ashi chart right here. Series of reds. Now, if we can get a series of greens going, then that's going to flip that around back to some bullish action. But right now, with the series of reds going, and it being below the 34 EMA, I'm expecting some more lower action for Apple until it can get back above the 34 EMA. All right. Just on Apple. That doesn't work on, that works on Apple and the Qs, basically. Not much else. All right. And Gigi, you can squeeze in HUT, but it's already been voted for a whole bunch of times. So I'm going to cover that one. All right. So next up, I saw Tesla is one I don't cover often, but it's been super popular. Yeah, this pullback I looked at in September. I was projecting that it would probably poke up to the 800 level, which it has twice now. that may be all she writes for now. It may pull back into this mid 700 area before it can get strength to go up again. If it starts breaking down, making a lower low than we saw back here, then we can see a deeper retrace into the 600s, and maybe a revisit of the 144 EMA that'll pop out here. All right. No, the indicators on my chart. I have the Echo Trade indicator. That's my primary one I have on here. And I'll go through what some of those things are here. And I also have pivot points traditional weekly. So the pivot points weekly are, let's see if I can see where they are. Yeah, they're the little blue lines here. Just these little P's. You see, you can kind of see them. If you turn off the Echo Trades, you can see the P's. These little light blue lines dashed in there. That's the pivots, the weekly pivots. All right, I have the general Echo Trades indicator on here because it pretty much is what I use on every chart every day when I'm looking at the market. All right. So Tesla, that's I was predicting a move up to 800. We got the move up to 800. Now it's going to have to do something. If we get a solid close above 800, we could see higher targets up to 840, 862. If we don't get a solid close up there that holds, then we'll probably start moving back into this 750 area. And if not holding there, then we may see a move down to the 700 area where the 144 EMA is. All right. Yeah, I can flip back to Apple real quick. Right here, we got to get above 142-ish. Got to get some close up in this area right here. Somewhere we need to see some closes up here above the top of these two candles we had the last 2 days. And really be super swell if it's above the body of this candle over here that had the big bottoming tail. But then we closed down near the bottom of the bottoming tail. And then we closed inside today. That is not constructively bullish. The other thing I was talking about was flipping the chart over the Heikin-Ashi chart. That's a different kind of, what it does is it averages 2 days and gives you a bar. If you're interested in that, go to investopedia.com, look it up, or I can cover it in a future session if you're super interested in it. So this right here, Apple tends to run in trends. Right now, it's in a downtrend. And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the last run. Had 3 days of greens, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. May be able to expect 2 more days, 1 or 2 more days of red before we flip back to greens again. All right. That's not great if you're long Apple, at least not for the short term. But since it did touch the 144 EMA, that can very easily be a bottoming point for Apple, especially since NASDAQ also did the same thing. All right, that's slow enough for everybody. Now, let me roll through the survey one more time. Let's see what else was popular. All right. So next, I'm going to hit Mara. That was quite a popular one. Super strong bullish candle today. We need to get back out of the top of this orange zone that I've had on my chart for a good long while. That comes from this correction over here. And the top, basically this high right here and this topping action right in here define that orange zone for me. And we've had a little trouble trying to break higher than it. But right now, with this momentum today, it looks like we could get out of there. And really, since they mine a whole lot of Bitcoin and they have hundreds, literally 100,000 plus mining machines scheduled to be installed by mid next year, between now and mid next year, they're going to keep mining Bitcoin. So they're going to be more and more, reliant on the price of Bitcoin for their value because they're mining an incredible amount of Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin had this huge reversal off this support zone down here. This was a profit roadmap setup that I had. The profit roadmap looks for a break through the 144 EMA, a return to the 144 EMA, and then a bullish break back above the consolidation at the, that it has when it hits the 144 EMA, which is indicated by this 513 cross on a daily. And we started running up. And my short-term target is between 57 and 63,000 on Bitcoin. Longer term, I'm looking for 80 to 100,000. My short-term goal right now is to get up into this green oval, and we're getting there quickly. All right, I'll give you the opportunity to have lots of links here in just a few moments. So HUT was another one that we wanted to review. I put out a YouTube video discussing this profit roadmap setup and the fact that I went in with some longer term January options. I also put out an echo trade alert based on HUT. I think HUT is headed to the 19 to 30 area right up here, which will coincide with Bitcoin's run. As far as big machine to mine, I have some like 3-year-old GPUs that are mining. I have a 5-year-old GPU mining, and I have some brand new 3070s mining. So mining's a subjective thing. If you're interested in it, go to nicehash.com and start reading some stuff on there. Now, some things about mining: the whole environment's getting ready to change when the Ethereum protocol change comes up, the Shanghai fork, whenever they do it. So nicehash.com right there. If you're interested in mining, it's super easy to get started. All right. So HUT right there, breaking above this orange zone is going to be extremely bullish. And we can probably see prices go from 13 up to the 19 area very quickly. All right. Can you just trade VIX? Yes, you can, but you can't trade VIX directly. You can trade options on VIX, or you can trade derivatives of VIX. But since VIX is an index, you cannot actually buy VIX directly. You can buy puts and calls on VIX. So VIX right there did have a spike back 2 weeks ago, or I guess last week, almost 2 weeks ago now. Made a lower high on this last deal the last couple of days, and we may be setting up for a volatility crush, return back to the lows around $16. So some popular ones to trade: UVXY is a 3 times leveraged ETF on volatility. VXX is another one. These you can buy. You can buy VXX, but both VXX and UVXY are decaying assets. That means the fees that it takes to keep up with the VIX futures you can trade VIX futures, and you can buy those directly. So the fees that UVXY and VXX and TVIX and all the other ones that are out there, those fees eat away at the base value of those ETFs, which causes them to head to zero over time. So you went to Investopedia and it's very, very confusing. All right. So you can trade VIX futures, which are VX1 exclamation point, or you can trade options on VIX, VIX. You can load those up and you can buy options on those, and they're actually treated favorably in the US as 60-40, 60% long, 40% short term gains. And then you can trade the derivatives, which are VXX, UVXY, etc. All right. Let me run through here, get a couple more. We discussed HUT, we discussed Mara. discussed NQ, we discussed ES, and the micro futures, MES, one exclamation point, are just the same as, they're just micro contracts. The same sort of prices, same sort of action, same bottoming area. We may see the same sort of dip as we do on ES itself. They're very similar charts. I just don't have all the stuff drawn on MES micro. All right. Run through. Looks like I covered Tesla. I see Facebook quite a bit. Facebook dropped below the 144 EMA on the daily. Couldn't break back above today. So this one could be set up to revisit even lower levels. Check out the weekly chart. There's a long way to go to the 144 EMA on the weekly. So that's one to keep an eye on. It may be bearish if it can't get its act back together here in the next couple of days. That 144 EMA is a clue. Having a short-term dip for a couple of days below it is fine. If it remains down there, and certainly if it makes a lower low, right here, if it makes a lower low than that, then we could see something much further down. We do have earnings coming up in November. That's something to keep an eye out on. All right. See, this one asked for quite a bit. Smile Direct Club. Right now, that's not a great looking chart, right? That's downtrend. Inside the bigger drop from last year, kind of peaked out in January this year. Has been lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, all the way down through here. Did have a bullish candle today and made a higher low, but it was a lower low than what we had right there. That's just a sideways trend right at the moment. No trend. So I'm talking, everybody can hear me, I do believe. I'm showing audio levels. So if you don't have sound, I think it's on you, and I'm sure you can't hear me if you don't have sound. All right, I see a few Microsofts. We'll hit that one. Nice big dip, held way above the 144 EMA. And let me clear off some of these fib lines. So right here, we are holding an echo. And I would need to see a move above that right there, close above the pivot and that orange line around about 290, let's say. Close up in this area. That could get me looking for a long again on Microsoft. Long-term bullish. They're just releasing Windows 11. So that would get us a move to 312 to 321 area. All right. Well, that's we're getting near the end of my 30 minutes I had planned for giving out today for everybody for free. Pick up a couple more things here. I see we'll see a few things. Most popular. Let me refresh it one more time, aggregate it one more time. Roll through, double check. All right, I see a few PayPals on the 3 different ones. Aggregate them all separately, so I'm trying to combine them together in my head here. Let's go PYPL. PayPal. It's in this big consolidation. It is below the 144 EMA, has been for a few days. I think this could return back down to the 230 area. They are getting into crypto, but they don't have a whole big giant holding on of crypto. So right now it looks like PayPal is maybe going to head to the bottom, back to the bottom of this range. All right. All right. So that was kind of the long and short, quick review with everybody voting. I picked up the most popular ones. I'm sorry if I didn't get to yours, but I have some links for everybody. So if you're not sure about Echo Trades, we have jeffreytrader.com/ET. You can check out Echo Trades if you're interested. The indicators I was using were mostly Echo Trades indicators. Now, Profit Roadmap is also the same sort of setup, except it's only looking at the daily time frame. So I'm looking at the daily time frame, looking at the 144 EMA, looking for a break through it, a return to it, a bounce off of it, and then you trade in that trend. Now, Echo Trades is a swing type trade, looking for a 3 to 5 day trade that may last up to 3 to 5 weeks. And I put out alerts with Echo Trades, and it does cost more. Profit Roadmap is a $47 thing. You get a weekly watch list, no trade alerts. So just want to be clear there. I do have profit wave reports that I put out. One of the first ones I did back in July on UCO, which we can pop up that chart quickly. I put out a trade alert in July for UCO when we were back in this area getting this dip. And I put a target on it for around 100. And I am currently up about $12,000 on my position on UCO based on that profit wave report. So the profit wave reports can be very valuable. We have another one that's coming up probably later this week or maybe next week. Well, when we do this session next week, I'll probably have you a link for it. So profit wave reports are right there, jeffreytrader.com/wave. They're just single trades. Maybe I think that the second profit wave report we did had 2 trades in it, possible. The first one was on UCO. The second one was on GPUs. The third one's coming up, and it'll be a surprise what it covers. It's a SpaceX play. Tease that out there. And then if you are interested in the Fibonacci class, I have jeffreytrader.com/math. That is a pre-recorded class that we did back a few months ago, and we may do a new version of it coming up sometime. Now, the crash survival kit that I did on a promo last week, that was just, and we broke out just the extra parts from Echo Trades. If you're interested in that, jeffreytrader.com/kit. You can get the crash survival kit, because if you haven't noticed, there's some bearish stuff coming. And will the holiday season be ruined by a global supply chain crisis? I don't know. But this article talks about it, a little bit about what's going on. If you're on my email list, you've probably seen a bunch of the stuff I have out there. So I wanted to briefly touch on that. We have if the Fed decides to end tapering, then we may see a big drop in the market. If the Fed decides not to, then we're going to see crushing inflation. So one way or the other, it's going to put a hurting on people. So, all right, Fred, I will get my man Steven on that right now. If you put your email address in to the host and panelists only, we will get you hooked up for what you're missing. All right. Now, I use MotiveWave for my charts when I'm not on a webinar. I use TradingView. That's what you see right here. But if you're familiar with some of the charts I put out and they're black with the Echo Trades logo, I use MotiveWave. And if you're interested in a trial of MotiveWave, you can go to jeffreytrader.com/MW. And if you haven't been getting my free content on YouTube, you can go to jeffreytrader.com/YouTube. And there's one more on here that's missing. I'll put it in the chat. I have some SMS content. It's free, jeffreytrader.com/alerts. And I sent that to panelists instead of everybody. Throw that one more time out to the chat. jeffreytrader.com/alerts. And you can sign up for SMS content and get free video alerts, kind of like what I started out the session with, where I go through ES, NQ, Russell, gold, oil, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Lately, I've been doing Doge, Uniswap. I put those out. So I can grab the video I put out just yesterday. Just give me 1 second here. Yeah, it should be right up here. Right here in the chat. It's a nasty YouTube link, but that was the SMS content I put out yesterday/today. So that's it. That's kind of the whole thing. Like the Fibonacci class is the base for what I do a lot of my stuff on. The profit wave reports are one-off reports that don't really fit into any of the alert services. Profit roadmap is high time frame, big long trades. Echo trades are swing trades. I don't really have a day trading service that I do. We're working on some new stuff like covered calls where I do a slow trade that makes 1 to 5% return on cash sitting in an account every week. That's coming out soon. I have a beta test group that's been working on those trades, and we're working on getting it out to everybody, figuring out what it's going to be. I think we'll have several tiered product, a cheap product, a mid-tier product, and a more expensive product, because there's different levels of the covered calls that I do. Some weekly ones, some monthly ones, some short-term couple day ones. All right. I do not have these links posted in Telegram because I don't really have, I mean, this is not just Echo Trades. This is everybody that follows me was invited here today. There's going to be 200 plus of y'all. So yeah, I'll have a covered call thing coming out soon. I've been beta testing it since July with a group of people, and everybody seems to like it really well. So yeah, I do have a lot in the cooker. I do a whole lot of different trades, and my team's trying to help me get them out there. A lot of the base stuff is Echo Trades, profit roadmap, stuff like that. I wanted to kind of get this out there so everybody can see the universe and how it all fits together. And we do have a few more other things coming out. I took advanced AI classes, and I'm working on an AI price predictor. That thing's out there. We're working on it. I took graduate classes in that a long time ago, so I do code and do some crazy stuff there. I've got a gamma type project that we're working on, and that's really crazy and confusing for a lot of people, but we're working on that too. So how long a trade is a roadmap trade? 3 to 5 months generally. Barbara. All right. Clone my brain for you. Yeah. So I just wanted to check in with everybody. I think we're going to do these every week from now on. So you'll have a chance to come check out my newest stuff, whatever I'm thinking. Maybe I can show you a little bit of the stuff I'm looking at on the backside, some of the news I actually look at. One of the other scary things I'll show y'all real quick before you go. Let me grab this one here. Yeah, right here. Check this out. Gas prices in Europe are now the equivalent of $230 a barrel oil. So that's crazy, right? So if this translates over into actual oil prices, we could see oil really start ripping. So there's a worldwide energy supply crunch right now. That's something to be cognizant of. I think that was really people playing the difference between the Europe prices and the US prices on natural gas. I think that's what really tanked the market yesterday, not Facebook outage for 6 hours. So, all right. I thank everybody for coming. So here's the links one more time if you're interested in anything. I'll have a recording up. I'll probably throw this up on YouTube and throw it out to everybody who follows me. Thanks for coming. I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate everybody coming. Be back with me next week. All right. Have a great one.